Coming up later on tonight, I just want you to know my special guest will be Mr. Bill Pickard. Mr. Bill Pickard is on his way down to the studio right now. And, he just left the Johnny Gill concert, and he's going to come down and tell me about what was happening at the concert. He's going to be talking about the NAACP Freedom Fund dinner. Also, he's going to be talking about the Singles Mingles that's coming up Sunday night. And where it's going to be and what it means and what it means to you. Mr. Bill Pickard is on his way to the studio right now, and he'll be here shortly. We're going to kick it live on the radio. And, who knows? I might turn him into a disc jockey or something like that. Just give him the microphone and let him kick out a few jams, something like that. Anyway, he's in the back of the limousine right now. He's on his way down right now. He's going to be my special guest DJ. He just doesn't know it right now. We're going to have him kick out some music right here on 92.3. This is Electrifying Mojo. How you doing tonight? We'll be back. Now, I'll tell you what. I'm not leaving. 92.3 FM, WMXD. I just want to say we're about to welcome Dr. Bill Pickard, a foremost business leader, entrepreneur, humanitarian, and a nice guy. Dr. Bill Pickard will be my special guest later on tonight on 92.3 FM, WMXD. Somewhere right now, he's in the back of the limousine, and he's on his way down. Here's something I'll know you want to hear and love.
The Detroit branch of the NAACP.
92.3 FM, this is going out to Dorothy Lawson from your loving daughter, Tasha, who thinks you're the greatest mom in the world. And she said, like, my mother's so sweet, just dedicate a song to her and tell her I love her. And I'll tell her I'd do it for you. So, Dorothy, I hope you're smiling right now, are you? Yep, I see it. 92.3 FM, WMXD, the Electrifying Mojo. Look here, it is my pleasure to have Dr. Bill Pickard, a foremost business leader, civic leader, humanitarian, entrepreneur, philanthropist. He's right here in the studio tonight. And not only is he all of those things, he's also one of the leading role models for men and women in the city to look up to and to follow in the footsteps of the legendary Dr. Bill Pickard, my special guest right now. Dr. Pickard, how are you?
Hey, Mo, I'm just glad to be here with you. And speaking of leaders, man, those last ratings I saw on Arbitron, you have done it again. Congratulations to you and the entire staff and management. You did it.
Well, thank you very much, Doc. It was because I had people like you out there listening to me and spreading the word that Mojo's back in town, and when Dr. Pickard speaks, people listen.
I wish.
Speaking of speaking, you've been behind you've been in the forefront of spreading the word about this gigantic NAACP dinner that takes place every year, the largest single dinner in the world, one place on one night. I think those are the statistics.
That you are correct.
And the Singles Mingles is somewhat like a prelude to the big one. So let's talk about both of those things.
Well, you're absolutely correct that the Detroit branch of the NAACP Freedom Fund Dinner is the largest sit-down dinner in the world. We will seat 10,000 people on Sunday, April 28th in Cobo Hall. And our speaker for the evening is the renowned Governor Doug Wilder of Virginia. Miss Anita Baker will be present, and we're going to have a grand time with a 1,000-voice choir that will raise their voices to show the world about Detroit's greatness and diversity through music and culture.
A 1,000-voice choir?
1,000-voice choir.
Wow.
We're gonna have a good time.
Okay, tell me about the Singles Mingles.
Well, as you know, Mojo, when you buy a ticket to the dinner, it's normally $200, and it admits 2 people. And there are a lot of us in your listening audience who are single, like yours truly. And we said, look, we need dates and we need people to accompany us to the dinner. So a number of people like Marilyn Hubbard and my co-chair, Mary Blackman, who is happily married, by the way, and a young lady named Nicole Pinelli, and people like Dr. Herman Glass, we got together and talked about a singles mingle. Dave Bean, Dana Eubanks, Kathy Adams, and a host of others said, why don't we give something so that those of us who are single can support the NAACP Freedom Fund Dinner and also meet some of the most outstanding singles in Michigan. So this Sunday at the African American Museum at 4:30, we're going to bring together some of the most outstanding ladies and some of the most outstanding men in North America together at one place at one time, and we're going to mingle.
The singles will mingle, huh?
You said it.
Oh, I'm single too, but I got to work Sunday night. Maybe I could beam in by remote control or something like that.
Why not? I think that would be profound. Maybe the ship would land in our midst.
Well, look, there's been a lot of talk about the singles and mingles everywhere I go right now. People say, "Hey, you got any tickets, homie?" I said, "I don't know. The doctor's coming down."
For you, there are always tickets.
Well, look, let me ask you this: How is it that the NAACP can year after year? I mean, it's been going on for a while.
37 years.
They say, look, we're going to have the largest sit-down dinner in the world, and there's not a lot of high-tech marketing. It's just a group of people spreading the word through a group of people and a group of people saying, okay, this is what we're going to do, and then every year it's done.
Well, you know, the exciting thing about this dinner, and you have been able to come to a couple of the meetings with your business schedule, and I appreciate that, is that this dinner is put together by literally hundreds of people who volunteer. The NAACP has one paid professional staff person, and Mrs. Joanne Watson, our executive. The rest of us are people who say, we would not be doing whatever we're doing today, career-wise, job-wise, if it were not for the NAACP, Urban League, and SCLC. Those of us who've been able to earn a few dollars or have these businesses, we owe a large debt of gratitude to the NAACP. And so it's our way of saying, hey, we have to make it better for the next generation. And I just left the concert tonight with Johnny Gill and Keith Sweat and BB&D. And I tell you, man, your fans were there in large numbers, and you epitomized that when they open the door, we could take care of ourselves. But we need that NAACP to keep opening doors so that brothers and sisters like you who are talented and gifted can walk in.
Dr. Bill Pickard. Dr. Pickard, let's talk about Dr. Pickard. You've been a business leader in this community for quite some time, but you're still a young man. When you got the vision to get busy, of course everyone gets that vision. A few people get an opportunity to act on it, but you've been able to put together an empire. How did that first door open? Tell me about that first door that swung open for you.
Well, first of all, you know, Mo, much like you're standing on the shoulders of many brothers and sisters who were in your profession, and they had to work on certain mediums and certain ways that were not permitted to go beyond certain geographic boundaries, even though their talents were great. So much like you're standing on the shoulders of those early jocks, I'm standing on the shoulders of those early people in our community, both men and women, who were in business. And I always tell people that we're great, but we're greater because we're standing on the shoulders of men and women who served and who gave so much of themselves. But the profound thing about my meager success, Mojo, I believe very strongly, is that when God gives you the vision, he also gives you the provision to achieve the vision. And that is the essence of my success. And this community, Detroit is such a beautiful place. I've been around the world, man, but there's no place on earth for African American people like Detroit. Sure, we have problems, we have challenges, but brother, let me tell you, ain't no way that a poor boy who went to school to be a social worker could do what I do and make a little money except in Detroit. And you epitomize again, man, the best that our community has to offer. And I'm just proud to be a part of brothers like you and Dave Bing and Mel Farr and Martha Jean the Queen and all those people who make this a better community for all of us to live, work, and serve.
You know, one thing that amazed me about your career, not only had you achieved massive success in the restaurant industry,
Mickey D's, if you please.
Mickey D's, if you please. Well, I was going to let you say that. We ran our share of McDonald's commercials tonight.
God bless you.
You can make one. Look, you like mastered the game, but then you said, well, I think I'd like to get over here in the plastic industry a little bit.
Talk to me.
How did that come about?
Well, again, God gives you the vision, and He also gives you the provision. But really, it's like most things in life. You put one foot on the ladder, and then you move up. And I think the beautiful thing about our community is that those of us, so take Donnie Simpson, who was much like you, one of the leading personalities in Michigan. And Donnie went from radio, and now he's doing a heck of a job on TV. And I know that your career, you know what you're doing outside of this industry and the sales that you have been able to generate. Because I always tell people when I travel around the country that one of the reasons I admire and respect you, Mojo, is that you understand show business. And without the business, there is no show. And all too often in our community, we have been the show, and other folk have been the business. But brother, you are both, and I'm proud of that because that's what we have to become more of.
Dr. Bill Pickard. We'll be back with Dr. Pickard and talk some more about Singles Mingles. Dr. Pickard, you are a restaurateur. You are a gentleman of plastic. And now, here's your third career switch. You're about to become a DJ on 92.3 FM. The Mix. Now, as you become a DJ, you can pick a number, name the number, and it's done. And then announce it.
Well, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Everyone has people that in their lives that have been important. There's a person named A.W. that epitomized the best that the world has to offer. So why don't you simply do something for me, Mo, and let's talk about the essence of life. Number 7, you make me feel like a natural woman.
On WMXD 92.3.
Here we are with Lady Reed, and you make me feel like a natural woman. This is Bill Pickard. You're listening to 92.3 The Mix. And now, the inspiration for all of us, the bridge over troubled waters.
Don't trouble the water. I won't get along. Why don't
Queen and the bridge over troubled waters.
still water run deep?
You're listening to 92.3 The Mix, and you're riding and listening with Electrifying Mojo. And now we ask all of you to simply call us the moment you get there. This is Bill Pickard, sitting and chatting with the Electrifying One, Mojo.
This is Electrifying Mojo with Dr. Bill Pickard. Just kicking out a little bit of Aretha Franklin, hoping that we're making you feel good. And if we are making you feel good, it makes us feel even better knowing that you feel good. That's the mission. And you're going to feel even better after Sunday. What's happening Sunday? Well, let's talk about that too.
The Detroit branch of the Indian Barber Supply.
Wow, they're Detroit's best.
92.3 FM, WMXD, Electrifying Mojo with Dr. Bill Pickard. And we're just kicking out a little bit of Aretha Franklin. The doctor likes Aretha Franklin. I like Aretha Franklin. Detroit likes Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin's probably out there listening somewhere, or she'll hear about it. And, we just decided to kick out some Aretha because we like her. And we also think her dad was cool. And so, hey, we just sitting out here kicking out some music, and the doctor's kicking out some knowledge and some commitments and some things that he's involved in and what he's doing in the community, letting you know what you could do So we thought that'd be kind of cool way to do a Friday night. Well, we're not really doing this Friday night. We're letting this Friday night do itself. We just assisting, you know. And I like I told you earlier, he is a restaurateur, a gentleman of plastic, and now he's dapper behind the microphone.
I wish.
Let's talk a little bit more about Singles Mingles and the dinner and how it all got started, as only you could tell it.
Well, we all know that the NAACP came out of this so-called Niagara movement in 1909 in Niagara Falls, New York. And Mojo, it's of interest that they met at that point in America, because even in 1909, Canada was perceived as a promised land, and they met very close to Canada in Niagara Falls, New York. This NAACP Freedom Fund dinner, which is the largest civil rights assembly in the world, was started 37 years ago by men like Damon Keith, men like Dr. Lionel Swan, people like Dr. Art Johnson and Mrs. Irene Graves. And so 37 years later, we're standing on the shoulders of the foundation that was laid in this community. And again, on Sunday, April the 28th, at 5 o'clock p.m. in Cobo Hall, we will assemble, and we will have 1,000-voice choir to lift their voices in praise. And we will seat 10,000 people for dinner. And hopefully with the grace of God and a lot of effort by a lot of people in your listening audience, we will raise over $1,100,000 for the fight for freedom. And if you don't think the fight is still going on, just reflect back to what we saw happen in California a few weeks ago. And you know and I know that the work of the NAACP is just as vital today as it was in 1909 when it all started. And the men and women who have done so much with so little for so many, perhaps that is what Aretha was thinking about when she talked about the house that Jack built.
This is a house that Jack built, y'all.
92.3 FM, WMXD. It's been a pleasure to have had Dr. Bill Pickard as my special guest and special guest DJ tonight on 92.3 FM. Kicking out some Aretha Franklin. I thought that was classic. Definitely. This is Electrifying Mojo. It's now Saturday morning, and I don't know. I felt good when I came in here at 7. I feel even better now, so I don't know. What does that say?
Listening to Electrifying Mojo, Rare Moments. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you wish to subscribe, hit the subscription button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you wish to subscribe, hit the subscription button. If you wish to subscribe, hit the subscription button.